Welcome to TV20 News. We are Cleveland. I'm Leah Haslage. Some young men and women are taking to the streets armed with shovels, rakes, and a whole lot of mulch to help to beautify neighborhood streets this summer. They are all members of Mayor Jackson's Neighborhood Corps, and we sent TV20 reporter Dan Monroe to learn more about this amazing group.
It was a hot summer day when a group of young men and women came to Lorraine Avenue in the west side of Cleveland to shovel mulch into bags. At first look, you'd think these are volunteers, but not so, says Danny Elliott, area supervisor for the Mayor's Neighborhood Corps at Youth Opportunities Unlimited.
The youth in this program are employed through Youth Opportunities Unlimited summer employment program. And the mission of the program is to get youth engaged in their neighborhoods in a couple different ways. So we have youth doing beautification projects, we have youth painting murals, learning from community leaders, and really getting involved in their communities in any way possible. And they're being led by site supervisors throughout the summer.
Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson stopped by to check in on the young workers and even pose for some photographs. Mayor Jackson told me the program is an excellent way to keep the youth busy during an active summer month.
What we want to do is keep young people busy during the summer, and this is just one way to do it. And while Youth Opportunities Unlimited is the employer, and we have funded them to employ a youth for the summer, and this is just one aspect. Before I go any further, I want to thank the people for voting for issue 32. That's the 0.5% income tax increase. If they hadn't have done that, this program wouldn't exist.
Ward 16 Councilman Brian Casey was happy to see the young people working and doing good to beautify his ward.
This is awesome. I mean, to see something like this, not only are the kids learning a skill, but it's also part of the prevention, intervention opportunity for the kids. We know where they are, we know what they're doing, we know that they're educating themselves. They're learning the skill of gardening and landscaping today. Keeps them off the streets and busy.
Antonio Sparks told me he enjoys the work he's doing with the Mayor's Neighborhood Corps, plus it's preparing him for a successful future in the workforce.
It helps you with a lot of trade skills, and it helps you with a lot of unique talents that you could use in your further education. You know what I'm saying? If you want to further your education, it helps with that. And I believe, I'm like a lot of young people, like to put money in their pocket, but at the same time, some of them like to help their community also.
In business for 35 years, Youth Opportunities Unlimited has been employing and training young people who may find it hard to get their first job, says Carol Rivshin, President and CEO of Youth Opportunities Unlimited.
Today, YOU does much more than summer jobs. We do jobs throughout the year for youth up to age 24. This summer, we'll have close to 4,000 young people working all over Cuyahoga County. The city of Cleveland will have over 2,600 of those kids working. The city of Cleveland and Mayor Jackson's program and the PIO program is fantastic because it has put a larger context on the importance of a job as an opportunity and as a prevention opportunity as well.
For more information, visit youthopportunities.org. For TV20, I'm Dan Monroe.
300 mayors and council members from across the United States came together at the Hilton of downtown Cleveland for the annual Summer Leadership Meeting. The meeting convenes each year in the hometown of the current president. Ward 15 Councilman Matt Zone is the president of National League of Cities for 2017.
The National League of Cities is a policy and advocacy organization. We work on best practices that help cities thrive and grow, but also we're an advocacy organization where we are on the Hill in Washington every single day lobbying for issues that matter for cities, whether it's cuts towards CDBG or the COPS program or creative ways on how we can help fund public education. Those are issues, some of the issues that we work on.
Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson welcomed his peers to the city and spoke on the importance of the theme of the meeting, economic upward mobility.
Which is very important because as we look into the future, all of us face similar problems, no matter what the size of our city is. We all face similar problems. And in order to address those problems, or to be able to address those problems, there has to be buy-in by everyone. And we cannot have that if we do not have an equitable opportunity for everyone to have upward mobility in our economy, not only in terms of the jobs that are created and the wealth, but also the wealth that is essential for the creation of those jobs.
During the Cavs playoff series with the Toronto Raptors, Councilman Zone made an interesting yet friendly wager with Toronto councillor Josh Metlow.
So we had, two council members from two different cities, two different countries, placed a friendly wager, and the loser of that challenge had to go to the other respective city and clean up a street.
And we decided to make a friendly wager. We decided rather than, focus on a box of beer or a jersey, we wanted to focus on public service, because that's what we all do as members of our respective city councils.
Councilman Zone will temporarily rename the street that Councillor Matlow will be cleaning. In the vein of public service, Matlow says he is happy to do the job.
I look forward to going out this afternoon to finally clean up your neighborhood. They've been calling me.
In its 93 years of existence, only 2 Clevelanders have served as president of the National League of Cities, Councilman Matt Zone and the late George Voinovich. For more information on the National League of Cities, visit their website at nlc.org. Well, the City of Cleveland and the Police Department have launched a fun neighborhood program aimed at keeping kids cool this summer. The program is called Let's Chill Together, and TV20's Enrique Correa has more on this unique community building effort.
The Cleveland Police are on patrol making sure kids get a frozen treat from Pierre's Ice Cream this summer. The truck is part of an initiative called Let's Chill Together, which launched in early June as part of the City of Cleveland's Safe Summer 2017 program. The Let's Chill Together program aims to promote more positive interactions between children and police officers.
As the chief often says, we don't want to fall into the stereotype of a relationship between police and community, and we don't want kids to have that negative opinion of police, and we don't want the police to look at kids as a challenge all the time. So this helps in that regard.
The Let's Chill Together truck is staffed entirely by Cleveland police officers. Recently, the ice cream truck made a stop at the Kirtland Park pool in Tremont and gave the kids some frozen treats.
It's another factor in us trying to build better police-community relations and to start young. 4, 5, 6-year-olds, helps us out a lot to kind of combat that negative stereotype that officers have sometimes, so they can see firsthand, interact with police officers, get some free ice cream on a hot summer day.
Cleveland's based Pierre's Ice Cream donated 10,000 frozen treats plus a portable freezer for the police ice cream cruiser.
So we've got our ice cream truck, which is a collaboration with the Cleveland Police Foundation, our Cleveland police officers, the city, and Pierre's Ice Cream. It's a really important tool to get out into the community and to connect with our officers through ice cream. And there's no better way to do that than a hot summer day like today.
The police ice cream truck will be at different rec centers, pools, and events all summer long. So keep a lookout so you can get yourself a tasty treat. In Tremont, Enrique Correa, TV20, we are Cleveland.
There was a lot to celebrate recently in the City Council chambers as 14 of Cleveland's finest were promoted in rank. As Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson read the oath of office, 8 patrol officers were sworn in as sergeants. 5 sergeants were sworn in as lieutenants, and 1 lieutenant was sworn in as a captain.
That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of Lieutenant of Police, the State of Ohio, during my continuance in said office. Congratulations.
Before handing the officers their new badges, Police Chief Calvin Williams offered his congratulations.
You all know the challenges that we face in law enforcement today, and you wouldn't be sitting in these chairs if you weren't up to that challenge, and I know you are. And I've worked with or either supervised probably everybody here except for maybe 1 or 2. But I know everybody sitting here, and again, I have the utmost confidence that you are the people to continue to lead this division as we go through the coming years.
Safety Director Michael McGrath told the newly promoted that their positions revolve around one word: leadership.
Leadership makes an organization move. it makes the organization. It's very important that when you get promoted, you assimilate into this leadership position, because once you get promoted, you have no other options. You have to lead and lead the division.
In a separate ceremony held in the Red Room of City Hall, Mayor Jackson swore in 2 other officers to a new rank. Sergeant Arneal Rose was appointed to the rank of lieutenant, and Patrol Officer Brian Lanasa was appointed to the rank of sergeant. The Mayor's Office of Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity for Youth and Young Adults held a press conference at Kirtland Park to announce new youth-related programs aimed at changing the pattern of violence in the city.
And what we're trying to do is restore that balance. The mayor's initiatives with roads and buildings and community development and economic development will certainly help in that regard. Improvements to the playgrounds and recreation centers will help in that regard. But kids need to have opportunities, and they need the same opportunities that kids in more affluent suburbs get.
Mayor Frank Jackson says it's the community as a whole that can be the catalyst for ending violence in the city.
And so we cannot just rely on the police department to resolve the issue of violence and crime. It is a deeper community issue that we have to address, and it's a community effort, and that's why you see the people behind us. Everything that we've been successful at as a city, we've done as one community, one Cleveland. And when we've done that, we've always been successful, and that's the approach that we're taking here.
Chief Dwayne Deskins, who oversees the Office of Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity, says there are a variety of programs available to help keep Cleveland's youth engaged and productive.
Because the goal is to surround our young people with a caring adult in a young person valued activity, and with a caring adult over a significant period of time. So if that's basketball for that young person, that's great. If it's yoga for that young person, that's great. If it's dance, if it's photography, if it's chess, whatever it may be, we want to make sure that there is something for everyone. And these are what we could get in the first 4 months. But I assure you, as we look ahead, we have many more on our horizon that we're going to try and use our rec centers to project ourselves in the community.
Public Works Director Michael Cox says Cleveland Rec Centers will be offering expanded services to young people, including keeping 8 of the centers open an extra 3 hours until 11 p.m.
We also have new programs that from the Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity. We have a near-peer program, we have a girl power program, we have a chess program, we got a yoga program. We've got programs that we're working with our staff to recognize trauma, and with our staff that will be trained in trauma recognition. We got programs that are just different and new programs for all of our rec centers, and it is a non-traditional program that we're trying to work in here to prevent the young people from being involved in things that they have no business being involved in.
For more information on the Office of Prevention, Intervention, and Opportunity, or the new programs at Cleveland Rec Centers, be sure to check out the City of Cleveland website. Well, there is a new green initiative already in place, and the City of Cleveland designed it to reduce pollution in our rivers and streams, and it all starts at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. We sent reporter Dan Monroe to the airport to learn more about their green roofs.
It may not look like much, but these little green plants will reduce stormwater pollution to our rivers and store hundreds of thousands of gallons of rainwater per year. These aren't located in a greenhouse either, but the roofs of Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
People think of airports, they think of the big buildings, lots of concrete, and aircraft that take off, and all of that not necessarily in the best light for the environment. So this is one initiative that is part of several initiatives that we have here to reduce our carbon footprint, to be a good neighbor, and to help prove that you can be a good environmental steward and yet a successful business.
So what do these green roofs actually do? For the answer, I turn to Matt Gray, Chief of the Mayor's Office of Sustainability.
Meet so many of the challenges that we're trying to address here in the city. You talk about stormwater absorption here in the city. We still have, billions of gallons of untreated water going into the lake. It's a lot less than we used to have, but there's still a lot. So green roofs do a great job of absorbing that water so it doesn't go into our combined sewer system. It's also great just from aesthetics, right? People love to see green. It's great psychologically. And also from an energy efficiency perspective. So green roofs sort of insulate buildings, which reduces energy use. And so there's many more benefits. So we're really excited here that the airport has done this.
At the kickoff celebration to the installation of the green roofs, Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson praised the airport for their green efforts and made a case to other Cleveland-based companies about the benefits of going green.
When you have a sustainable operation, it can be profitable. You save money. We want the private sector to understand that being green and sustainable is not against profit. As a matter of fact, it helps to enhance your profit. And we want companies to be established in Cleveland in a green economy. All of what you see, all this is happening in what you see here is part of what we're attempting to do.
Airport Director Robert Kennedy says the airport's sustainability initiatives don't end with the green roofs.
We're going to look at more alternate fuel vehicles, more recycling that we're doing. I talked about the de-icing recycling, the more than 350,000 gallons a year has an effect on it reduces an effect on over 25 million gallons of stormwater runoff. Those are amazing numbers when you think about this airport and how we can affect our neighbors. And we're trying to be the best stewards that we can and add to this. This is not just one and done or two and done or five and done. This is forever in the life of the airport.
For TV20, I'm Dan Monroe.
Mayor Frank Jackson met with a group of young leaders from several countries across Africa to engage in an open dialogue about how the city of Cleveland operates and similarities and differences between American and African cities. The young men and women were brought to Cleveland from a program through Case Western Reserve University known as the Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. Radhika Ramurthy, administrator for the program, says that the group will be in Cleveland for 6 weeks.
Fellows were interested in knowing how the city leadership works and also wanted to meet a leader that makes the city work. And we felt there's no better person than to start the day with Mayor Jackson. And today is their very first day of orientation. And we are very pleased that we were able to come here and meet with him and engage with him in terms of all his experiences. And as he said, it's all about cultural exchange, information exchange that makes the world a better place.
After a brief photo session with Mayor Jackson, the fellows gathered in the Red Room to ask Mayor questions and have a discussion.
I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the kind of questions each of the fellows raised with Mayor Jackson and him kind of addressing it with his own experiences in terms of how it relates to America and then to the grassroots level of Cleveland and the city and what he was able to give back to the fellows in terms of how they can apply it to their countries.
3 of the fellows from Nigeria talked about their first impression of Cleveland and of meeting Mayor Jackson.
It was quite interesting to know that the people of Cleveland are very friendly and very hospitable.
I think the insights that the mayor offered were actually truly phenomenal. I think his style for tackling problems and preferring solutions are extremely practical, and I think that is the sort of foresight that is required in order to prefer the sorts of solutions that a city like Cleveland needs.
For more information on the Mandela Washington Fellowship, visit Case Western's website at cwru.edu. A City of Cleveland Water Department worker is being honored for heroism after pulling a man's lifeless body from Lake Erie and saving him by performing CPR. Reporter Enrique Correa spoke to the rescuer and has more.
Eric and Sherry Wilcox of Palmer were just enjoying the new Edgewater Park on Memorial Day when they saw a man in Lake Erie who looked like he was in trouble.
The one guy was in the water. It looked like he was bent over in the water because the water's only waist deep. So it looked like he was maybe holding his breath, trying to show his friends how long he could hold his breath.
But the man was not holding his breath. He was actually drowning. According to Wilcox, when the man dove into the lake, he broke his neck. Wilcox says when he flipped the man over, he was blue, and that's when he jumped into action.
And sure enough, he was dead. I raced down there, which is only, like I say, 20 feet away, And she was about 8 feet from me. I said, get him here, get him here. And I pulled him up out of the water onto the rocks and began reviving him. I just held his head and blew as hard as I could into his mouth. And sure enough, water just was blasting out of his nose. This went on for over 2 minutes.
And then?
And then finally, after screaming at him and continually doing the CPR, he threw up in my mouth. And I was happy about it. Because he was alive. He was alive.
Wilcox has worked for the city of Cleveland for the past 20 years in the water department. He says a CPR class he was required to take 19 years ago taught him what to do in case of an emergency. This was the first time Wilcox has used his CPR training, and it worked. Wilcox and his wife were at City Hall to receive a certificate of recognition from Mayor Jackson for his bravery and heroism.
Knowing the world and know how the world operates and the way it thinks, you know, anybody who takes that kind of step and to be that persistent about helping, of course they're a hero.
But Eric Wilcox says he doesn't feel like a hero. He says he was just doing the right thing.
I'm not a hero. What I am is what America used to be and needs to be again. People who care, people who think from their heart beyond anything else. Think from your heart and act.
At City Hall, Enrique Correa, TV20, We Are Cleveland.
When we return, we'll learn why adults in the community were racing each other on big wheels, and we'll see which local parks have been revitalized. We'll be right back with more TV20 News.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Welcome back to TV20 News. A 13-acre park on Cleveland's east side got a major facelift just in time for the summer. Mayor Frank G. Jackson, Director of Public Works Michael Cox, and Councilman Jeff Johnson cut the ribbon on the new playground in Kirtland Park. The city officials were also joined by the Friends of Kirtland Park organization, who were thrilled with the improvements to the area. The new playground features a climbing net, and swings with rubberized soft surfacing were installed, plus new benches and picnic tables were added to the park. Diseased ash trees were removed and new trees were planted in its place. The Kirtland Park provides fantastic views of Lake Erie from the bluff, plus it's an investment in the neighborhood.
In the air show or holidays, you'll see people here, they're picnicking, they're doing things, touch football games, that kind of stuff. But it's also a neighborhood park for the people up on the hill in the lower St. Clair Superior area. They come down, and as I say, they're people who have fond memories of this place, so they're really happy that it's been renovated.
Well, this is an example that if everybody works together, both in City Council and in City Hall, and using the people's money, we can do what is needed in the neighborhoods. And what's needed in the neighborhood is green space redevelopment, and play areas for young people.
The park improvements also include an accessible parking space and new stairs and handrails, which lead to the parking lot at the top of the hill. In total, the renovation of Kirtland Park was $209,000, and it looks great. Another Cleveland park received a huge makeover, and this park is located in the Warner-Turney neighborhood. TV20's Enrique Correa has more.
The ribbon was cut as residents were excited for the park and street dedication for their new park and playground. Recently, the half-acre park underwent a $145,000 renovation, which included new playground equipment, a swing set, a rubberized playground surface, new benches, and trash cans to help keep the park clean. The improvements further support the park as an important meeting place for people in the community.
This is a park that has been part of this community for some time, and it wasn't always a park. And the investment by the councilman, by the city of Cleveland, Hershey, the leadership of Slavic Village Corporation has made it what it is today. So again,
I want to welcome everybody, and
I'm pleased to be able to be here today to see the completion of this park and all of you who stuck to it and kept our feet to the fire for so many years, that we have such a wonderful asset in our neighborhood, not for us, but for our grandkids and other kids in the neighborhood who will be growing up and calling this place home. So thank you very much.
So I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you to the residents who showed patience with us, because this did take a long time coming.
The street near the park was also dedicated to the organization who wanted the park renovated, so the street near the park will also be known as Warner Turney Neighborhood Organization Way. If that wasn't enough, the park was also renamed for a local area resident. The park will now be called Ronald Bayline Family Park.
I'm very surprised and deeply humbled to the people that knew about it, if they did, that it was going to be named after me. And I appreciate my family being out here.
At Ronald Bayline Family Park, Enrique Correa, TV20, We Are Cleveland.
Another park in the city of Cleveland has been renovated, and TV20 cameras were, of course, there for the ribbon cutting.
1, 2, 3. All right.
Goudreau Park on Cleveland's near west side has a new look and style, and the kids couldn't be happier. Public Works Director Michael Cox is thrilled about the new enhancements of what he calls a pocket park.
It is a pocket park, a neighborhood park that might be unknown except for the people that live in this neighborhood. But it's a beautiful green space and a play area for the young people that live in this city, in this neighborhood. So it's a great day for another dedication. It's part of what we do with the capital that we spend in the neighborhoods, and it is part of one of many that we're going to be doing this summer.
Mayor Frank Jackson says this park provides a safe place for families to enjoy with their young kids.
It is designed for families, designed for small kids. And because of that, you really have an opportunity to raise your kids in this area in a safe environment. And it really helps, because doing that, you have to be able, if you're going to leave your kids somewhere or you're going to leave them with somebody to watch them, you have to feel comfortable that they're going to be okay. And that's what this park does. It's a passive space that you can do what you want with, or you can have your kids on the play equipment here, but it's all designed for small kids, and it's a great park.
Ward 13 Councilman Kevin Kelly says the renovation of this park is a smaller part to a bigger picture in the community.
One thing that we're trying to do in the Old Brooklyn community is take a holistic approach to a healthy community. What does it mean to be a healthy community in Cleveland, Ohio? You know, it is, to me, it's a combination of having recreational space, having good education, having walkable streets, having local food available. And if you look at the investment that the city's made in this park, those of you that have been by Low Park, those that use Henritzey Park, and all the parks that are in Old Brooklyn, we're spending a lot of money investing in our neighborhoods.
They call it the biggest little race here in the CLE. It's the 5th annual Cleveland Big Wheel Relay, and it's to raise money for a special charity. TV20's own Enrique Correa was at the racetrack and has more.
Leah, we're here at the 5th annual Cleveland Big Wheel Relay, where adults get to act like big kids, all for a great cause.
On your mark, get set, trike!
28 teams of 4 dressed up in some unique costumes like the Average Joes, and this team dressed up like Kiss the rock band. All the groups pedaled their big wheels down 14th Street in Tremont to raise money for the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center.
All proceeds go to supporting the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center. It's an organization that helps over 8,000 adults and children in Northeast Ohio that have speech and hearing related difficulties.
The teams were very, very competitive. There were crowds of people lining the streets to see their favorite teams speed by. There were some minor wrecks and some spinouts, which added to all the fun. Some of the parents who participated in the Big Wheel Relay say they compete and raise monies each year to give back to the organization that's helping to change their lives.
Regional Lip and Hearing Program helped us when our kids were born with no ears. We were shocked. We didn't know from an ultrasound that they weren't going to have ears. So Regional Lip and Hearing Programs taught us about sign language, about hearing aids, and they helped us facilitate all the communication needs and the hearing instruments that we were going to need for our kids. And today, my twins are 6 years old and they're going into first grade with all the other normal children in Mentor, Ohio.
I can honestly say the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center has changed our lives completely. She's a feisty little girl, and she's full of love and laughter, and we have learned American Sign Language. She's also learning to speak as well, so she's just developing as well as other 2-year-olds her age.
The Cleveland Big Wheel Relay met their fundraising goal and raised more than $35,000 for their charity. At Lincoln Park, Enrique Correa, TV20, We Are Cleveland.
For the third straight year, Team Wheelie Wheelie Fast won, and Team M&M's fundraised an event record, raising over $5,000. A few of us from TV20 once again raised money and competed, and though we didn't win, we will still see you back there on the track next year. For more information, visit Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center's website at chsd.org. Such a great time. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to TV20 News. We are Cleveland. I'm Leah Haslage. Up next, we'll have Christian Patterson with the Inside Sports Report.